بسم الله والحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله. حياكم الله أيها الإخوة والأخوات، حياكم الله وآواكم وبياكم وطبتم وطاب ممشاكم وتبوأتم من الجنة منزلا. May Allah Azza wa Jal bless you all for taking the time to join us here tonight. We welcome you to another weekly episode of this Ramadan, of this Islamic Reminders. So a few days ago we had something about parenting. So today we would like to carry on somewhat on the same topic, but a little bit something different. Something about, spouses, about husbands and wives. We talked about parents, we talked about children, we talked about, the rights and obligations of each. So today, inshallah ta'ala, we'd like to talk about, the spouses, husbands and wives, or husbands to be and wives to be. So inshallah, it'll be a fun topic, it'll be engaging. But first I need to ask you, who's married? You see, the title says, are you married or happy? So you're married, and who's not married? You're happy, huh? Who's not married? Are you married? You're married? MashaAllah, tabarakallah. The sisters, they can join us, inshallah ta'ala. We have a presentation, and there's a partition on that side, so if the sisters are willing to join us, they're very welcome, inshallah. So today, we'll be talking about quite a lot of things. This is normally a topic or a seminar which I cover, throughout a very full day, from morning until evening. It's a very, very heavy topic, but I have summarized it for you, and I'm bringing you like the gold, in a golden platter, inshallah ta'ala. It'll be quite interesting, fun, a lot of, interesting information that will, trigger your brains, inshaAllah ta'ala, all of us. I'm a marriage officer myself, and a counselor and a family counselor, and so I deal a lot with issues and whatnot. So in fact, this topic or this seminar or this lecture is normally split into segments. The first segment is towards those who are not married, and the second segment is towards those who are married. But today I have mixed them up all together because for the sake of time I have about an hour or so to try to keep it informative and entertaining at the same time, inshallah ta'ala. First, I'd like to start with the agenda. What am I going to be talking about today? What's marriage? The definition of marriage. We'll be talking about setting the differences, which is something really interesting to know, psychological differences between men and between women. And we'll be talking about, why aren't you married? The fruits of marriage. Is this the... It's all good. Yeah, it's here we go. I'd like to talk about, to start with a story. It's a life story. It starts like this. The story starts with a happy marriage. Husband and wife married together, they're happy, excited, especially the first week, the first month of marriage, everything is fine. But then what happens in that story, the events move into a different stage, another stage. And the stage, we call it the confusion state. The wife becomes confused in many ways. she used to talk to her husband quite a lot on the phone. They used to spend a lot of times before marriage, and also within the first week of marriage, they used to spend a lot of time doing things together. And the guy gave her many promises of, wait until we get married and we're going to be doing things together, and and going on Umrah together, holding hands and flying in the air together, all these things, and all these hopes and promises and whatnot. But then after the marriage, things changed. Few things changed. Maybe after, especially when maybe new addition to the family comes on board and whatnot, a lot of things became different. So the wife got confused. How come he's not doing the same things? How come he's not talking to me as he used to do before? How comes he's not coming home as he used to before, like all the time? And how come I don't see that excitement, that fun, that thing and whatnot? But the husband is totally oblivious. He thinks things are fine. There's nothing wrong, and he does his thing and whatnot. But the wife is getting confused. So what happens? She moves into another stage, and that stage becomes, it's called the struggling stage. She struggles. She tries to communicate her needs, that I've got issues, I've got problems, I've got needs which have not been fulfilled. The husband is again totally oblivious. What is it that you need? I work hard and I bring in and I put food on the table. I'm so busy doing so many things. What else do you need? I'm fulfilling all my needs. So we as men, we only think of things that we can provide. Materialistic thing oftentimes we think of, right? If I don't provide, maybe it may show that it may show less of my manhood. So we only think certain ways. So she struggles to try to, we need counseling. We've got problems. The guy says, we got no problems. Yeah, let's talk to a sheikh. I'm the sheikh, what do you need? I can give you fatwa. So she's struggling, but the guy seems like he does not know what's going on, but she has issues. She struggles. And then at some point, she may have spoken to her friends. She may have spoken to her family, her parents, who said, your husband is your Jannah or your hellfire. We don't have something called divorce at home. You solve your issues. So she went and spoke to her friends and nagged and nagged and nagged. And people saying, sabr, be patient. Things will move, things will clear, things will get better. And she, held on and on and on. Sabr, 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 sabr and whatnot. And then she falls into another stage called the miserable stage. As if she is giving up. For her now, that husband is just the father of the kids. He is no longer a man who fulfills her needs and whatnot. He's just the father of the kids. She's totally, at this stage, she has lost herself. She's miserable. Up till this point, we can still save the marriage. And I'm telling you from experiences, which I've seen and I've dealt with and whatnot. Just recently, so many things. People who've been married for 10, 20 years. This is not like a 1 month thing or 1 year thing. I'm talking about sometimes it could be 20, 30 year marriage. And then the wife at some point may say, that's it, I'm done, I'm gone. And then the husband goes like this. It reaches a point of no return. As this stage, khalas, what's the point of no return? Not necessarily divorce. It could mean, may Allah forbid, as we've known and we've seen, could be suicide. It could be khalas, mental state, she's totally out. Or it could be divorce, it could be many things, point of no return. And then the stage moves into another stage now. Now the husband becomes, where is it? Now the husband becomes confused. Why do you want divorce? Why are you sick? What's happening? Now he's asking all those questions that she used to ask before. What is wrong? I thought we were the perfect couple. I thought we were Aisha and Prophet Muhammad in our home. What is wrong? Now he's confused. I thought I was fulfilling all the needs. Maybe he was fulfilling some of the needs, but maybe mostly not her emotional needs that she needed. And then he goes. He struggles. Now it's the same thing, but different stages now. The same stages, but a different human being. It's the husband who's struggling to understand. Let us try to go now to another sheikh. Khalas, now she's in her mind, in her state, nobody can save. the problem who can save the marriage, because she's out, she's done. He struggles, and then he falls into that miserable stage as well. What can I do to save this? It's out, it's done, it's gone. Point of no return cycle. This is how it goes. And we're here, inshallah ta'ala, to talk to you. You see, you may have heard talks about marriages and whatnot. Today's talk will be totally different. You may have read some books, you may have spoken to many sheikhs. A lot of time people, they come to me and I said, listen, you want my time, this is, how I do it. I don't give free time no more, because sometimes people don't value your time. They don't like free advice no more. And the sheikh, sometimes what he says, Allah says, do this. Yeah, Jazakallah khair, kullu tamam, kullu zayd. It's all beautiful, Allah says, and everything. But sometimes the husband or the wife, specifically, she has reached a stage where you tell her to be patient. It's not that. That's not what she wants to hear no more. It's not about me, be patient. I went beyond that. It's not about patient no more. I'm sick, I'm dying. This is why sometimes I talk to the shuyukh and the imams and whatnot. Says we need to up our standard and up our education in such a way that we need to get some sort of coaching ourselves to be able to give the appropriate advice, Islamic advice, coped or in parallel with some sort of counseling, professional coaching, to give professional advice. Up until this point, what happens, there's always starts with contentment and happiness, then confusion, struggle, miserable state, point of no return. Like I said, we can still save everything up into that miserable state, but once it reaches the point of no return, unfortunately, the marriage cannot be saved. I read a book long time ago. It's an amazing book. It's called Why Men Don't Listen. Why men don't listen anyway. And why women cannot read maps. It's the same book. Why men don't listen and why women cannot read maps. So I love the book. And it does not talk about why men don't listen. The book does not talk about that. The book does not talk about why women cannot read maps. The book talks about the psychological differences between men and women. How men think and how women think. Sisters, listen up. How men think and how women think. We think differently in so many ways. Allah has made us to not to compete with one another, but to complete each other. That's the purpose of marriage, to complete one another, not to compete, But there's a lot of differences, psychological differences. What does it mean? You're married, right? Yes. When your wife says, you tell her, I need to do this, and she says, fine. Fine in English means what? No, in English, fine means okay. But her language, fine means, whether you are Urdu man or Chinese or Bengali or whatever, fine, when she says fine means, yeah, waylak if you do it, man. Don't even try. If you do it, if you go out, khalas, jahannam for you on earth. When she says fine, that means she's not fine, right? So there's these sometimes, that language that needs to be decoded, right? So setting the differences. Men and women are different in so many ways. Men and women are very much different in many ways. I'll give you some examples. تعال. Yeah, I'll use you as a كده. MashaAllah, tabarak. Here is a man's brain. Man's brain like this. Man, this is how we are. Sisters, this is very important. Listen up. A man's brain is made of boxes. Boxes. Mafhum? There are many boxes. Each box is that. Maybe you can turn that off so that. جزاك الله خير. طيب تعال هنا. Boxes. One box called finance. A box called children. A box called school. A box called wife. Wife, exactly. That's a very important box right here. Wife. A box called work. A box called children. Did I say children? Yeah, say again, children. A box called friends. Bunch of boxes. This is how our brain, man's brain. So if a man, sisters listen, if a man wants to talk about finance, money, he pulls the box that talks about finance, he talks about money, and he puts it back. Understand? And then if a man wants to talk about children, he pulls the box right here that talks about children, he pulls it, he talks about children, and then he puts it back. Mafhum? There is a very important box in every man's brain. This is $1 million information. You won't find it anywhere. There is a very, very important box in every man's brain. You know what it's called? It's in the middle. It's called the empty box. ما فيه ولا شيء. Empty. Blank. Nothing in it. That's man's favorite box. It's our favorite box. Sometimes when you're watching TV and flipping the channels with the remote control doing tasbih, right? Sometimes this is what you do. You know, you're flipping channels. You're not watching TV, you're just flipping. The wife says, can't you just focus on one channel? You're not flipping channels. You just are in your empty box. You're not watching. You're not listening. You are blank. Have you ever gone fishing? Anyone? You've done fishing before? Have you, sisters, have you ever seen men fishing? Imagine these two people, two guys are fishing, right? They fish. They could be sitting for 2-3 hours fishing, quiet, not talking to each other. If a woman was to see that, she will say, these guys are having issues. How come they're not talking? We're not talking just because we're enjoying fishing, dreaming and living into our empty box. This is why a lot of problems do happen. He's doing something, focusing on something in his empty box. She comes to tell him, I'm doing this, and he says yes. He didn't even know what she was saying. He says yes, yani just leave me alone, yes. And then when she does it, he comes back and he say, where did you go? مش قلت لك أنا I told you already. I never said, yeah, you told me. You asked him in the wrong time. You asked him when he was in his empty box. He's dreaming. He loves the empty box. He goes and miskin. We love that box, don't you? Sometimes like I'm alone, doing nothing. My son loves that box. Sometimes he goes to school, late. Where were you, Baba? I was in my empty box. I said, come on, خليك من هذا empty box. No, don't fool me. And I know all these things. Here is the woman's brain. تعال. The woman's brain is the same. All the boxes, the same. Children, money, finance, husband, kida. But when a woman wants to talk about a box, kida, a matter, she could talk about, at the same time, she could talk about money, she could talk about her children, she could talk about her husband, she could talk about everything at the same time. Kida, the boxes, kida, they're going like, the information. Allah has made her like that. Allah has made her like that. And she could be also listening to you talking on the phone. Yes. And she's also listening to the TV and talk on the phone and helping her children with their homework. Say mashallah, tabarakallah, mashallah, quwwata illa billah. Allah has made them that way. We cannot. If I want to talk about one thing, I can talk about one thing and one thing at a time. If you are driving as a man, you're driving a car, and then you're listening to the radio. You're listening to the radio, you're listening to the news, or the Quran, whatever. And then your phone rings. You're driving, your phone rings. What is the first thing you will do? You see how, sisters, all of us, we agreed. The first thing we will do is turn off the radio. Because it's too much for us. We cannot drive, talk on the phone, and listen to the radio. Too much on us. The first thing she says, I'm listening to the radio. Why did you turn it off? She says, I want to talk on the phone. She says, what, talk on the phone? I'm listening. We cannot do that, sisters. Rahma. We can't do that. We can do only one thing at a time. And if you give us two things, that's a lot. Allah has made us that way. And Allah has made you that way, subhanAllah. Do you understand? So this is how we work. This is how they work. You understand this, my friend? So inshallah, when you get married, be careful of that, inshallah ta'ala. And if you do something in that, always blame the empty box. That's my advice to you. Jazakallah khair. Men and women are very much different. Women can be multitasked. Men cannot. Generally speaking. I'm talking about, we cannot just say this is it, how it is. But generally speaking, women can multitask, but men generally cannot. Men focus on one thing at a time. Mafhum? One thing at a time. This is very important. This all will help solve these family or marital problems that people tend to have sometimes. Women mature, and this is scientifically proven. You don't need qala Allah wa qala Rasulullah on this one. Women mature much faster than men. MashaAllah, tabarakallah, you bring a 15-year-old boy and a 15-year-old girl. The 15-year-old boy, go to his room. His underwear is on the floor, his socks everywhere, his pants in here, his room is a mess, and he's flipping, these baseball cards, or the basketball cards, or soccer. He's still doing stuff and doing his nose like this. And you have to remind him to change his underwear. He's a 15-year-old, and you still have to tell him things. A 15-year-old girl, mashallah, the way she walks and the way she talks, this is how they are. Women who are girls, when how old is your son? 6, mashallah. How old was he when he started talking? First talking? 3. Well, that's good, that's mashallah. But how about a girl? 1.5, she was already making full sentences. My son started talking when he was about making a full sentence. It was about 5 or 6. To be, this is subhanallah. We're different, but they mature much faster than men, and this is why Ahl al-Ilm, they say it is good. It is better to marry, as a man, to marry a woman who's younger than you. And don't come and say, "طيب, how come Rasulullah married?" You're not Rasulullah. Astaghfirullah. You cannot, compare yourself to the Prophet Muhammad alayhi wasallam. But we're just saying that it is, as per the advice of the experts in this field and the scholars and the ulama, they say it is better to marry a woman, a girl that is younger than you. Why? Again, because of mostly this thing. Women mature much faster than men. Women tend to communicate more effectively than men. Women, they communicate their issues. Women, we absorb things. We swallow up things. We hardly can, pour our chest out. But women, mashallah, tabarakallah, when you go in companies, professional companies, departments, the marketing department. The marketing department or the HR department, the human resources department, is mostly, women. But when you talk about math, when you talk about, finance, it's mostly also men. So we're different. It's not like they are better than us or we're better than them. No, we're different. How would you think, my buddy, if I tell you, hey, dude, walk with me. Come, can you, walk? Come, yeah, we're going. Can you take a walk with me? Where are we going? We go together to the washroom. Can you go with me to the washroom? Yeah. No. Sisters is very fine. When a sister tells her sister, let's go to the washroom, they go together to the washroom. They don't go to the washroom for a special, no. They go to the washroom, it's like a lounge. You know what a lounge? They go, they talk, they all the maskhara, the makeup and all those things. That's why they go together. But it's weird if I tell you, hey, buddy, let's go to the washroom together. We're different. You understand? Give me a hug, man. You see, it's different too. It's all right. It's okay. Learn this. Learn. Are you married? No. Oh, learn. Men are more task-oriented. In general, men are not better than women. Women are not better than men. We're different. Allah made us that way. So we need to understand and respect. The key word here, the golden word, is respect the differences. That being said, marriage in Islam. How long have you been married? Is that painful now? No. 20? How long have you been married? 10 years? Until this baby. How long have you been married? 28 years. Anybody been married more than 28 years? How old? Allahu Akbar. MashaAllah. Say everybody, MashaAllah, la quwwata illa billah. You don't give him the evil eye, you evil eye people. MashaAllah, la quwwata illa billah. Chacha, uncle, can you give me definition of marriage? What's marriage? 41 years. Contract, business, كده. Contract.
Marriage means you've got rights on each other.
Or the rights. Fulfilling of rights. Under the contract.
Then, like extramarital effects or the premarital
Yes. Without contract. Father, uncle, mashallah, I respect you and everything, but you will have to forgive me because I will go beyond that. I'm sorry, you're my sheikh and you are, like I said, my father. You teach me, about marriage. But I'm sorry, I have to teach you something here. Because marriage is never about, a lot of people, they come to me as a marriage, I say, Sheikh, here's my wife, tell me about my rights and her rights. I said, if marriage is about rights, right now, let's issue the divorce. Because if it's just about rights, you will be so rigid in that marriage. Hey, my right stops right there. ما هو الفرق بين العدل والإحسان? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in the Quran, إن الله يأمر بالعدل والإحسان. Allah ordains adl, justice, and ihsan. What's the difference between adl, justice, and ihsan? Anybody? I again forgot to bring chocolate and candy, otherwise I'll be... What's the difference?
extra more than the rights.
And what's justice? No, I said what's justice and what's ihsan. Because Allah ordains justice, adl, and ihsan. What's the difference between the two? Allahu Akbar. So justice is what belongs to them, you give it to them. Ihsan is what? And you give more. Okay, I'll give you more than that. Justice is, adl is, I take my right and I give you a right. Hada adl. Adl. I give you what belongs to you and you give me what belongs to me. This is adl. Ihsan is I give you more and I take less. Ihsan. Give you more than what you deserve. Marriage is all about ihsan. Marriage is not just about rights, and you will see. It's about ihsan, ya shaykh. More. Because, sisters, I'm going to tell you something today. I'm going to give you this recipe. Recipe. 3 keys to keep your husband forever, inshaAllah ta'ala. You want that? You want me to give you 3 keys, ingredients to keep your wife? Well, you don't want that. The husband. I'll mention that, inshaAllah ta'ala. To see about ihsan, really. Give beyond, give more. I'm going to talk about something called the love triangle. Watch this. The love triangle. It's all about ihsan. So the definition of marriage, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gives us this definition beautifully in the Quran. In Surah Al-Rum, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, and this is the description of marriage. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم ومن آياته أن خلق لكم من أنفسكم أزواجا لتسكنوا إليها وجعل بينكم مودة ورحمة. And amongst his signs, when the Quran, give me Quran please. When the kitab, give me a book, Quran, Mus'haf. Throw it. No, I was just joking, ya Sheikh. La hawla wa la quwwata illa billah. No, don't joke with you. Throw it on the floor. Can you throw it on the floor? No. Can you step on it? Look, why? Because this is Mus'haf. This Mus'haf has what?
Allah's word.
Allah's word in what sense? What is these?
Arabic?
No, not Arabic. Yani what are these that you read?
Oh, ayat.
Ayat. Good. Listen to this. Listen, wait. Listen. You already don't listen.
I got married so early.
Allah says, وَمِنْ آيَاتِهِ أَنْ خَلَقَ لَكُم مِّنْ أَنفُسِكُمْ أَزْوَاجًا. And amongst his ayat, open. And amongst his ayat is that he had created amongst you your mates. Your spouse is ayah. When I told you through the Quran, you said no, because these are ayat from Allah Azza wa Jal. your spouse is also ayah. The same way, turn that off. If it's Obama, tell him I'm busy. Or Trump, tell him I don't want to talk, I'm busy now. Allah says, and amongst his signs and amongst his ayat is that he had created amongst you your mates, spouses. Right? You don't want to tell this because you respect it. The same way you respect this, the same way you have to respect. Say it.
Your spouse.
Who said? Who said, Akhi? Allah didn't say that, did I? I only translated what Allah said in the Quran. He said, Zakallah khair. What's your name?
Najib.
Najib, may Allah bless you, brother Najib. He says, and amongst this is Surah Rum, verse number 21. And amongst his signs is that he had created you, amongst you, your mates, so that you may dwell in tranquility. لِتَسْكُنُوا يَا سَلَامْ لِتَسْكُنُوا إِلَيْهَا سَكِينَةً. Your spouse is supposed to be your sakina, your sukun. يعني sakina, sakina, a place where you find rest, where you find comfort. لِتَسْكُنُوا إِلَيْهَا. And then he said something really beautiful here. He said, وَجَعَلَ بَيْنَكُمْ مَوَدَّةً وَرَحْمَةً. وَجَعَلَ بَيْنَكُمْ مَوَدَّةً وَرَحْمَةً. مَوَدَّةً from the name of Allah, Al-Wadud. He did not say وَجَعَلَ بَيْنَكُمْ حُبْ. حُبْ means love. He says mawadda, affection, wa rahmah, mercy. A question to you. How long have you been married? 18 years. طيب. Allah in the Quran says, and He has put amongst you affection, more than love, and mercy. Question. Why Allah mentioned affection, love first, then He mentioned mercy next? Why? Why didn't He mention mercy first and then love next, or affection next? Why He mentioned affection first and then He mentioned mercy next? Anyone? Why? Yes? Jazakallah khair. Good. If you show affection, Allah will show mercy. Yeah, but not that actually. But it could be. Are you married? Okay. Are you married? You're not married. Are you married, buddy? I want a young married, youngly married. Anybody? Like recently married? Nobody? I want somebody young, kida, who just got married not too long ago. 10 years, 20 years, 18 years? Okay, 18 years. طيب. I have to pick on you again. Your wife is Pakistani? She's from Pakistan? You met her in here or in Pakistan? In Pakistan. Did you guys used to talk on the phone? Was it arranged marriage? Oh, okay, so not good. I cannot use you as an example. I want to use an example of somebody who... Did you talk to your wife before you married her? Okay. All right. So you guys used to text on the phone and talk on the phone? There was no phones at the time, huh? There was phones, but there was no portable phones at the time. Huh? Oh, you had texting. Okay, amazing. Listen. So you used to text a lot, and sometimes you used to text and talk on the phone until you fall asleep. Huh? You used to talk a lot, kada on the phone, huh? And you have to say the truth because you're in the masjid, you can't lie. What happened after marriage? What happened to those talks and texts and everything? What went wrong? Lie. But why you used to text a lot and after marriage you stopped texting and calling on the phone and all this? Okay, question. Does that mean that you don't love her anymore? That's a very important question. Does that mean you don't love her no more? Does that mean you used to love her more when you used to text her? No. So what does it mean? It means that love has matured. Because they understood, sometimes the sisters, the women, they understand that, how come before marriage you used to do this and we used to do that, we used to talk a lot and text a lot, and then after marriage, a week, a month, year, that frequency is no longer the same. Those love texts are no longer there. What happened? Isn't it? Why? Maybe he doesn't love me anymore. Maybe he found somebody else. Already see shaitan? Shoo. He's making you think of all these things. Maybe this, maybe that, maybe what. La, that love has matured. This Allah Azza wa Jalla says in the Quran, وَجَعَلَ بَيْنَكُمْ مَوَدَّةً وَرَحْمَةً, and He has put amongst you love, affection, then mercy. Mercy is there. So when somebody says, no, there's no love in this life, on this marriage, I say, wrong. Love is always there. Allah said it. But what happens, because sometimes of the issues and whatnot, maybe that you became blind to see that love. So what you need just a little bit of, scrabbing and scratching and shaking, okay, and that love will flourish one more time. Love is always there. Al-Hubb is always there. Al-Mawadda is always there. That's why Allah Azza wa Jalla calls it Mawadda, is beyond love, is affection. And then mercy. And this is the definition of marriage in Islam. It's a contract, sisters. Allah Azza wa Jal uses this word, mithaq, only 3 times in the Quran. Three times. Mithaq. Mithaq in Arabic means a bond, a strong bond. Allah uses it 3 times in the Quran. Twice for Bani Israel, and once about marriage. Marriage. Allah has made this bond, this marriage, sacred, sisters. Your marriage between you and your husband is a sacred bond. Do not break the bond that was made in the heavens. Yes, we may differ. Yes, we may have problems. Yes, I call it the ocean of love. Marriage is ocean of love. Love. Ocean is sometimes rough and sometimes smooth. And we as husband and wife, who are sailing into this ocean, we're sailing into this boat. I am the captain, I'm the husband, I'm guiding this, navigating this boat, and you are my co-captain, you are the wife, you are my eyes, I see with. I cannot navigate this boat by myself. I need you to be with me. So we're navigating this marriage boat in this ocean life, in this ocean which is sometimes rough and sometimes smooth. Likewise life, dunya, sometimes up, sometimes down. This is how it is. We need to go to this together. This is why Allah calls it sacred mithaq, bond. Don't break the bond that was made by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. This is the definition of marriage in Islam. More than, this, whatever you read out there about, this and whatnot, and all these, Bollywood definition or Hollywood definition of marriage. But I want to tell you about these countries, just so you understand a very important concept. Imagine this 4 people from 4 different countries. One come from the control country. Imagine, and listen, this will make sense inshallah ta'ala. 4 different countries. One country called the control country, which means control. I'm from that control country, let's say. I want things to be done, get done. I'm in control. I want to accomplish. I want to achieve. Somebody who's in the control, he normally uses these terms such as accomplish, achieve, control. I need to get this done. He always wants to be in control. Somebody who's like, I'm in control. Who's in control? I'm in control. Things have to be done. The control country, and somebody from the fun country. Imagine these 2 countries, or I'm going to mention 2 other countries, marrying each other. The fun country, somebody who's like, cool, man. It's all about fun. There's somebody who's, get it done. Let's accomplish this. Yes, let's accomplish it. But we can do it with fun. No fun. It's got to be done. It's got to be accomplished. It's got to be done. It's got to be, achieved. And the guy says, let's have a good time. How long are we going to live? What? Let's just have fun. While doing this, let's have fun. So this person is from the fun country. And there's another person from the perfect country. I used to be from that perfect country myself. You know what the perfect country? Everything's got to be done perfectly fine. This thing is wrong. It should not be here. It messes up the design. This thing has to be kida, somewhere hidden. Kida. I don't know. No, I don't like the way we sit in here. We have to be in perfect time. The perfect country. The table has to be set perfectly fine. The colors have to match perfectly. When you do the vacuum, you miss a spot. It has to be perfect. The perfect man, the perfect country. So this person lives in the perfect country. Things has to be done right. They look for the really, really small details. Perfect country. And then you have the last country is the peace country. whatever you say. Peace. I just want peace. Perfect peace. Let's go to your mom. Let's go to your mom. Peace. Let's go to dad. Let's go to peace. I'm salam. I just want peace. I don't care about nothing. I'm relaxed. I care about my health. You know, peace in the Middle East. So imagine the peace country marrying the fun country. Somebody who's just so hyper, just fun. I want to relax. Oh, I had fun. You know, so sometimes in marriage, that's what happens. You come from a background, and then you marry this person who's totally from a different background. Understand? And you want that person to be like you, or that other person wants to be like you. You have certain expectations, and that other person have expectations. So what happened in marriage? Sometimes there is a clash, especially in the beginning. Unless and until we understand and respect one another. I understand your background and where you come from, and I respect that. And you understand my background. Understand that my history. I was brought up like this. I was brought up like, you know, the toilet paper has to be this way, and the towel has to be here, and the pillow has to be there. And this is how I was brought up. I was brought up in everything has to be perfectly fine. You know, it's not like I'm wrong or right. Just understand my background, and I will understand yours. Marriage is just like that. You did not marry somebody who's like totally another you. Even Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, with all his wives, they were all different in many ways. And sometimes the wives, they used to team up against each other, like they teamed up against Maria. Like the Prophet used to like to go to her. Why Maria? She was Egyptian, and you know the Egyptians. You know the Egyptians. Imam Shafi'i said, if you're not married to Egyptian, you're single. It's not me who said. It's not me. It's Imam Shafi'i. If you have a problem, go to ask Imam Shafi'i. I didn't say, he said. Rahmatullah alayhi. The Prophet Muhammad used to like to marry. She has a sweet tongue. She would talk to him, talk, sweet talk, and she used to make him, you know, this honey, al-asal, the long story of the asal, you know. So sometimes they used to team up because it's okay, it's fine. We're different in many ways. The Prophet ﷺ understood that difference. So what happened to Maria? Because he did not do the same with, let's say, Aisha or Sauda. They were Qurayshiyat. So they were Qurayshiyat. They lived in the desert with him ﷺ in Masjid Nabawi, you know, the Haram. You know, all the wives were there except Maria. Why? Because she came from Egypt. She was used to the khadara, to the green, to the water and whatnot. So her house that he made for her was a little bit far in the Hawali from Medina, which was close to the green, to the trees, to the water. Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, he understood that, Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. Whereas the other ones, because they grew up in the desert and the mountains and the rocky, they were fine next to him, Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. You see how he put everyone in his proper place. He understood the difference and he respected that, and he tried to tailor to that needs, Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. So sometimes what we do, we bring our spouses with us. They live with us, and we make them abide by our culture. They come from a totally different culture, the same background, but we make them bite into our culture. You know, she may have a bear, teddy bear that she used to sleep with, and she heard about you, and she came and she left everything. She came and to live with you, and she found the true bear. You. She made all the sacrifices were gone. So we need to understand this. And I'm taking this also from the sunnah of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. How about if you all stand up, inshallah ta'ala, all of you stand up, please, and hug the person next to you quickly. Yalla, bismillah, bismillah. Aywa, hug. But you have to stand up because it's very important to stand up. Aywa, al-walad, inshallah ta'ala. But give a hug to each other, inshallah. Yes, very important to do that. Very important. You see, for those of you who are not married, who's not married? Kid, guys? For those of you who are not married, this is the formula. And this formula is given by Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. He says, if you are man, look for formula 1000. Formula, say 1000. Say, aywa, 1000, exactly. 1000, 1000. It's taken from the hadith of the woman who says, a woman is married for 4 things. You know, when you marry a woman, you look for 4 things. He says, sallallahu alayhi wasallam, for her wealth. If you choose a woman only for her wealth, put a 0. You're going to get 0. Or for her family status, just because she's a Khan or Chaudhry, you know, or whatever. So if you marry her for her family status, put another 0. So you have 2 zeros. Or for her beauty, only for her beauty. You marry her because she's beautiful. Put another 0, 3 zeros. Or for her religion. If you choose the religion, put a 1. Now if you put that 1, what would you have? 1000. If you choose all zeros, all the other above, that means zeros. But if you choose the deen, you will get 1000, which means you will get all the above. Allah will put barakah in everything, but first and foremost, choose the deen, choose the akhlaq, choose her piety, her righteousness. If you look for her beauty, that's all you will get. If you choose her wealth, that's all you get. There's no barakah, there will not be no barakah. I don't have time to tell you stories, live stories, you know, and live experiences of things, you know, people that I have counseled and whatnot. You know, problems that will turn your hair, not gray, green. And if you choose her family status, her father will make you live like a slave. Open the door. Shower. Ta'al hina. Massage me. Go. This. Ta'ala. She will make you with abaya. I'm exaggerating, but I'm telling you. Abaya. Abaya for women. And if you're beautiful, she will tell you to put niqab too. Pick the deen. Pick the piety, the righteousness. As the Prophet Muhammad taribat yadak. Ish taribat yadak? Taribat yadak has 2 meanings. Taribat from turab, dust. That means if you pick anything other than the deen, you will get dust. That's one meaning. Another meaning says taribat yadak, which means if you pick the deen, you will get all the above. I know you may ask, Sheikh, you know, really, but there's this girl who, mashallah, hafidhat al-Quran, and, you know, and she's, you know, mashallah, pious, and, you know, hijab, niqab, and she prays, and, mashallah, but she's not too attractive for me. I may understand. Well, the same thing would apply to his sister, this brother's mashallah, and everything, you know, his hafid, his qari, his deen, and alim, and everything, but it's not too attractive. Tayyib. We say beauty differs. Beauty differs. What's beautiful for me may not be beautiful to you. Let's say when I say, you know, my mother may say, I don't like her the way she looks. I say, Mom, for me she's like the sun. But she may not like her because, again, the beauty differs from a person to another. Beauty is the beauty of, say, the beauty of the heart. Naam, it's pick somebody who, naam, you can, إِذَا رَأَيْتَهَا تَرْتَاحْ. When you look at her, when you look at him, you feel raha, you feel comfort. I understand, right? But first and foremost, look for the deen. That's what the Prophet Muhammad said, sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Brothers, what does each woman like? Every woman, what do they like? What do they want? You don't even know. 18 years, 20 years of marriage, and you said, oh no, man. I know it's a book. You have to, it's a very difficult book to write. Attention. Every woman wants attention. What do women want? Huh? The 6-pack? She wants a man with a 6-pack? That's young. Not young. You know, the youngsters hear things like that. A woman wants a guy with a 6-pack. Do you have him? That means you cannot get married because she's with a 6-pack. Miskeen, wallah. I feel sorry for this woman who is going to marry you. The day when you have a 1-pack, she will divorce you. What does every woman want? One brother says, attention. Yes? Huh? Huh? A man has to provide. Provide mashakil, problems. Provide what? Huh? take care of everything. Okay. Appreciation. Sisters, what do you want from marriage, from a man? Huh? Respect. طيب. Respect somebody who respects me of me. يعني respect me of me. نعم. What else? That's it. It's easy. يعني I can give you somebody who give you respect وخلاص هنيتنا. يعني that's it. Huh? What else?
Be accepted as they are.
Acceptance. جزاك الله خير. We call them the 4 A's of marriage. This is general. Generic. Every woman wants attention. Everyone. And every woman wants some affection. Ya habibi. Yeah, Mary Jam. Tell me how much you love me. Tell me these love words, you know, this and that and whatnot. Tell me this love, shwi, mahabbat. You know, as we say in Urdu, mahabbat. Whether it's Arabic, mahabbat. Every woman wants appreciation. To appreciate what she does and appreciate what she, you know, what she's trying to do and appreciate her as her. And every woman wants acceptance, to accept me as me. I know I may be doing things that could be wrong, but this is how I was brought up. I can learn, just like you. You know, we can learn to change, to melt with one another and fulfill the needs of one another. But you know, we accept me. You know, accept me as I am. Accept me who am I. Appreciate what I do. Just a little bit of يعني Jazakallah khair. It doesn't hurt. You know, from one like كلهم from the Sunnah of the Prophet ﷺ. A little bit of, you know, a small thank you, affection, hub. You know, a life without love is spiceless. ما في spice. Just like you eat your biryani without spice. مصيبة, huh? Imagine your wife cooks for you biryani and she does not put
Still very good.
Still very good.
Very nice.
You are a very successful husband. Even if she cooks it anyway she cooks it, and you eat it. I will too. I have to eat it. وإلا just eat. يعني sometimes eat and close your nose, but eat. Just eat. I agree with you. Wallahi jazakallah khair. And every month, I'm here. I'm attached. You know, attention. Sometimes, you know, even with kids, sometimes they feel jealous of their own kids. يعني sometimes kids hajib. يعني, you know, the kids are coming to you because you traveled or whatnot. You come back and then all of them jump in, or you speak to them, and then, you know, she's like, what happened? And I'm here. وينك? I'm here. Attention. And then inshallah you will have a happy wife. If you are a woman, sisters, look for a man who has fear of Allah, piety. Look for a man who's kind. And look for a man who has TLC. ايش TLC? I was, you know, long time ago, my neighbor has his lawn was green, and I told him, "What's your secret?" He says, "Just some TLC." So I told my wife, "We need to go to Canadian Tire. We need to buy this TLC, you know, the spray." She says, "Well, crazy majnoon sheikh." He says, "TLC, I need tender love and care. Tender love and care." Look for somebody who has this, you know, these qualities of being tender, loving, and caring. Marry somebody who can forgive. Allah forgives. Wouldn't you? Sometimes we have such, you could be mashallah Shaykh Ajib, يعني Quran, but ya akhi, he does not forgive. Allah no forgive. يعني somebody does something. No, ya akhi, Allah Azza wa Jalla forgives. Allah is Rahim Rahman. Can't you forgive? It takes grudges. No, don't marry that guy. Marry somebody who's humble, down to earth. Marry somebody who is generous. مش يحسب عليك, you know, what did you eat today and what did you go and what did you spend, and he makes you smell the meat. You know, you eat meat once a year in Eid. You know, where did you go? Show me where. Somebody who's a little bit generous. Marry somebody who has a sense of humor. شوية كده, it's okay. What's your name, أخي? Adnan. يعني imagine you marry this lady and then, you know, you and her together, you talk Quran and she responds with the hadith. يعني ما شاء الله, يعني in the house is Quran hadith. You tell her, you know, when you're hungry, قال الله تعالى وكلوا واشربوا ولا تسرفوا. And then she responds, قال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم, you know, the thuluth, you know, and then she responds with the hadith of the third of the food, the third for the air, and the third. And then when you're asleep, you tell her, الله لا إله إلا هو الحي القيوم لا تأخذه سنة ولا نوم. And then she responds, what kind of mashallah is life? It's a boring life. You want somebody who has a little bit of humor, sense of humor, كده شوية, to make you laugh. It's all right. There's some houses, subhanallah, as if smiling is haram or bid'ah. We cannot smile at home. It's a bid'ah. Is it your home like that? Are you smiling? Do you smile only here or at home too? No, just here. At home you have to be Rambo, the Terminator. No smiling, يعني, I'm the man. There's some kids who are so scared of their father. When he comes home, they run away. Father, he's home. Run away. يعني كأنه دخل عليهم ملك الموت. ملك الموت is here. Run away. ده يا أخي. Understanding is very important. And listen to this. Understanding does not necessarily mean somebody who understands your language. Because I speak Urdu, so he speaks Urdu, we can get along. Not necessarily true. Not because I speak Arabic and she speaks Arabic, we can get along. Somebody who understands you before you even talk. Somebody who understands you just by looking at your face. And this is when, when we call it the language of the eyes. كده. The eyes, they have a language. Now, after this 41 years of marriage or 20 years of marriage, just by looking at your spouse, you would know if she's all right or not, wouldn't you? Well, are you still trying to figure it out? It's still complicated. You see, understanding. And this is why sometimes, and I know I don't want to get into this topic of, exporting, our husbands or wives, especially the wives from back home, or husbands from back home, whatever the back home is, and say, okay, they'll get along. It's all right, I got married, it's all prearranged, and alhamdulillah, look, alhamdulillah, we're fine. That was at the time. Times have evolved. Things have changed. Things have changed. So we need to cope with that change, my brothers and sisters. And I know this is a very, quite long topic, but I don't have time to get into it. But again, understanding is a very, very important element into the marriage. Ask for references. Who? One person I could ask as a woman, if I was a girl or a woman, I would ask maybe the Imam. This guy who came, his name is Muhammad Mubin, whatever his name is. Do you know him, Sheikh? Or if you don't want to talk to the Imam, you can ask your brother or your father. I'll talk to the Imam. Do you know this guy? Yeah, he comes to the masjid. What do you know about him? That guy, MashaAllah, he's like Hamamat al-Masjid, the bird of the masjid. He's always here. Fajr is always the first time, MashaAllah. He's always kada, akhlaq. So the Imam is giving you good reference. Who? Imran? أعوذ بالله لا حول عمران that guy حول ولا قوة إلا بالله شيطان. We see him once in Eid, and when he comes he destroys the masjid and he leaves. Are you sure that guy? Yeah, that guy. Because when he came he was having the misbah. He came home, to ask from me, from my father, and he has the subha, and he had the kufi, and he was my father asked him, what's your name? And he said, my name is Imran, alhamdulillah. What's your mother's name? My mother's name is Fatima, mashallah. Every time he says something, he says, mashallah, alhamdulillah, Allahu Akbar. Yani this man. So when he asked the Imam says, I know him. I know that guy. Illa Imran. He marry anybody, except, even me, except Imran. The Imam is saying. The Imam is a good reference, or his friend from work, if you know somebody who knows him from work, or maybe the neighbors. The neighbors are also good. What do you know about that guy? The guy, what's his name? Muhammad? Yeah, we know him. The police troopers are always here. There's always police problems. Always. But he says he's so good. That guy, I don't want to enter Islam just because of him. Yeah, and look at the reference they're giving. That guy is amazing, man. He's very nice, very cool, very kind. From time to time he comes and he gives us things about, in Ramadan, in Eid, he comes and gives us. He's a really, really nice man. He's a good man. We don't know nothing about him other than sometimes he goes and he shovels the snow for us. We never told him anything. Sometimes he comes and, ask for a reference, whatever the reference is, but do ask for references. Just don't go blindly. Yes, there's something called Salat al-Istikhara. The salat of consultation, whereby you ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to open up your heart, to make that, proper decision. But also do ask for a reference. How much time do we have, ya Sheikh? 10:30, but it's 10 minutes? Isn't Salah 10:30? Huh? يعني I have 20 minutes? طيب I need to jump شوية كده. I need to jump and go to two very important things right here, and then inshallah. Remember I talked about the love triangle? What is love in Islam? What's hub? Oh, I'm Pakistani, man. Haram. I don't talk about love. Hey, it's a bid'ah. What's love? Define love for me. A tough one.
Sacrifice.
Love is sacrifice. ذبيحة يعني ذبيحة حلال. Sacrifice. Dam. We only hear dam. What's love? Anybody? Love? Other than Bollywood? إيش? Rahma, Muhabba, Rahma. Here's the love triangle. There are three types of love. There's something called selfish love, conditional love, and unconditional love. Selfish love. I love me. You love me. We love me. Everybody loves me. We're the great. You know, I love me. Everybody loves me. I love myself. You love me. Everybody. It's selfish love. You do things for me and I don't care about you. As long as you do it for me, that's all it is. Selfish love. Conditional love. I love me. You love me. I love you. You did things for me. I will do it for you. You take care of me. I will take care of you. Had a conditional love. What we initially want or eventually want, we want that to elevate to something called unconditional love. What is unconditional love, sister? The love that you have for your daughter or your son. Is that conditional love? Until you obey me, then I will love you. It was your son. Is that your son, my brother? Is your son? Do you love him only when he obeys you? Only when he serves you? Is that only when you love him, and when he does not serve you, when he does not obey you, you hate him? No, you don't. Why? Because it's unconditional love. And that's the type of love that we want between every spouse. Unconditional love. Remember we talked about the adl and ihsan. Remember we talked about justice and excellence and ihsan. To give more. Expect less. Because ihsan, right? I'm trying to do the, not be perfection, but excellence. Doing ihsan in marriage. Remember the magical recipe? I'm going to give you, sisters, this is for the sisters, these are three ingredients for, insha'Allah ta'ala, your husband to be for you, with you, inshallah, forever. Let's say forever, until Allah Azza wa Jalla takes your soul. I call it magical recipe. It is taken from the sunnah of the Prophet Muhammad alayhi salam. Sisters, are you ready? Yes or yes? If you're not ready, I can move on. You're not ready? Yes, طيب. Magical recipe. Number one, help him steadfast, and I will answer this. Listen to him and share his interests. This is taken from who? This is taken from the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ and Khadija. So listen to the story. The most, in fact, beloved person in the sight of the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ, Khadija, the best friend. In fact, the best. When we talk about love stories, the love of all time, when we talk about Romeo and Juliet and whatnot, the best love story of all time is the story of the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ and Khadija. Why Khadija? Imagine who's been to Mecca? Those of you who've been to Mecca, who's been on? Have you visited the Mount, the cave where the cave Hira is? Have you gone all the way to the top? You have really? MashaAllah. You've gone to the top. How long did it take you to go to the top? How long? 2-3 hours. About to go all the way to the top. And then to come down. طيب. Here's Prophet Muhammad. Imagine this with me. Here's Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam in that cave, Hira. The only person who would know his whereabouts, Khadija radiallahu anha. Why? Because she used to bring him food. And Fatima was still a baby, was still a little kid, and she used to go with Fatima radiallahu anha, and she used to climb. It took you 2 hours. Imagine this woman who would walk up, she would climb that mount 2-3 hours almost every day, because at some point towards the end of before the prophethood of the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ, Prophet would stay in Ghar Hira for weeks. For days and weeks he would stay there. So she used to bring him food, sallallahu alayhi wasallam. She used to bring him food, and she used to go and she used to stay with him and sit with him for hours. Here's the Prophet, he used to do this ibadah that a lot of us have ignored nowadays and neglected nowadays. This ibadah is called ibadah ta'ammul. It's ta'ammul, the ibadah of meditation. What a beautiful ibadah. Contemplation. He would go to that cave, such a very beautiful, design cave. Allah has designed that cave for Prophet Muhammad ﷺ, which got an opening with a view directly to the Kaaba. So the Prophet is far away from the noise and the things that happens in Mecca. So he goes, isolate himself and sits in that cave to contemplate and meditate. Right? And the only person who knows his whereabouts, like I said, is Khadija. Right? So all of a sudden one day, as Prophet Muhammad is sitting, who comes to see him? Some man, a guy who's Prophet never seen, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, in his life. He brought something with him, right? And then he comes to the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ, and then he hugs him until he was about to choke. Imagine you're sitting. I want you to imagine this. And I teach this when I go to Mecca, alhamdulillah, and Medina, when I teach the seerah live there. So I take them and I teach them exactly what happens so that they can visualize it. Visualize. Prophet Muhammad is sitting, a guy who comes all of a sudden. I've never seen him. He hugs him as he was about to choke, and he tells him, read. Iqra, read. And from nowhere. And Prophet Muhammad is a ummi. Ummi, he does not read, he does not know how to read nor write. So he tells him, read. I'm so confused. I'm scared at the same time, terrified. Who's this man? I don't know how to read. And then he hugs him again. What's the point? I don't have time to explain, what's the point? What's the correlation between the hugging and the reading? Why is he hugging him until he was about to choke? You could have just told him, read, Iqra. But he hugs him. And the Prophet, he can't breathe no more. And then he releases him and he tells him, read. Again, the second time, read. And then for the second time he says, I don't know how to read. And then for the third time he hugs him until he was about to choke, and he told him, read, Iqra. Ummat Iqra does not Iqra. The ummat of read, we don't read. Read. And then he says, the third time, what does he say? What shall I read? And then he started reading, Iqra bismi rabbika alladhi khalaq. What happened to the Prophet Muhammad after that? He goes down running. Running, does he? Right? He goes down running all the way to Mecca, to the Haram. Few kilometers. Right? Few kilometers, about 4 or 5 kilometers until he reaches Mecca, alayhi salatu wasalam, into where he was, his house. And then he goes, where does he go? To his best friend, Abu Bakr. Who does he go to? Khadija. And then imagine now Prophet Muhammad with Khadija. There's no explanation, no hadith, that tells you, what does she do, but it's common sense here. Your husband, sisters, has come, breathing, so fast and so loud and tired and sweating and scared. And with the first thing he says, when you sleep at night sometimes, and you see a bad dream, you see a very scary dream, and then you wake up, what do? You try to cover yourself, you're scared, you try to cover yourself because you just saw a very, bad nightmare. So the Prophet Muhammad is so scared, he's a scared man, he told his wife, Zammiluni, cover me. So you are the wife of, let's say, let's just imagine, the wife of the Prophet, she covers him. Does she just cover him and does she leave him? What does she do? What would she do? Common sense, what would she do? She might have hugged him, Zakallah khair. I'm sure she would. I'm sure she's just sitting. She's sitting with him, she can't just hug him, and she's sitting and waiting for him. Zambilini, ghattini, cover me. Your wife, general, what would she be doing? She's scared, she's terrified. What's wrong, Habibi? I'm sure she must have hugged him. And now he's telling her the story. Khadija, I was here. And the cave I was at. Yes, that cave I was there. Yes, so what happened? What did she do? She's listening. What happened, Habibi? What happened? Did she say, Habibi? I don't know. I'm sure she must have said something. It's not like black and white, dark and ما في يعني شمسوش مثلا نعم what happened, tell me this, because the hadith only says that زملوني زملون. She heard him and then she said, she replied to him. But then the Prophet is telling her the story. Ya Khadija, I was there, and then this man came from nowhere. I've never seen him before. Then he hugs me, and he tells me read, and then he leaves me, and then he comes and I've never seen this man before. Ya Khadija, I'm so scared, I don't know what happened to me. And then he hugs me again, and there was the choke, I couldn't breathe, and he tells me read, and then he releases me, and then read. And Khadija is listening. She did not interrupt. But look at the magnificent work of this amazing woman, Khadija. She's so brilliant, smart, intellectual woman. When we say ajib woman, what did she do? She listened. She listened. She did not interrupt. She did not interrupt. She could have said, I told you you don't listen. I told you not to go to the cave, but you didn't listen. You see, it must be jinn. You are possessed now. Look at you. You never listen. Good. Did she say that? This is maybe why your wife, or you don't like to talk to your wife about your problems, because every time you try to tell her about your problems, I told you, but you don't listen. Isn't it? Sometimes we don't have, am I right or right? The Prophet went to her, she listened. Look what she said. Look what she said, and what she says is the most beautiful thing. Kalla lan yukhziyaka Allahu abada. Nay, Allah will never let you down. Allah will never harm you. And then she started talking about his qualities, as if the Prophet does not know his qualities. He knows, yet she told him, no. And then she started mentioning, you are, you help the poor, you help the needy, you host the guest. She started mentioning all his good qualities, as if he doesn't. Imagine the Prophet, let's say if he was from 0 to 10, he was 10, like scared, terrified. Now she's listening, and now she's talking to him, and probably caressing him and his head and whatnot, and hugging him. And then she started talking about all his good qualities. Now I'm sure his that fear level must have gone down from maybe 10 to about 6 or 7 or whatnot. She started telling him about all the things that he has good. Allah will never harm you, and is why Allah will harm you. And then to walk the talk, she told him, let's walk. I'm going to take you to someone who can tell you exactly what happened. She took him to where? To visit who? Waraqa. Who's Waraqa? Her cousin Waraqa ibn Nawfal, who lived so long to be over 80 years old at the time. And then when she went with him, look, she walked the talk. Let me come and tell you exactly what. She comforted him, but then still the Prophet wanted to know what happened to me. I still need an answer. I'm going to give you that answer. Come with me. Look at the woman. Look at the amazing woman. And she took him to the Waraqa. Waraqa, what happened? The Prophet started telling him the problem. This is what happened to me. Then Waraqa told him, yes, that who came to you was An-Namus. They used to call him An-Namus, with it was Jibreel at the time who came to Isa alayhi salam. Now the Prophet knew exactly what happened to him, and who was that man who came and hugged him and told him read and whatnot. It was the phenomenal work of this woman, Khadija radiallahu anha, who was with him, with alayhi salam one time, and then Jibreel came to the Prophet Muhammad, and told him, Khadija, she's coming, holding a tray. Give her the glad tidings. Give her salam. Give her salam from Allah and myself. And give her the glad tidings of a house in Jannah. A house in Jannah from this pearl. Yes, a house from Jannah. Because she sacrificed. She was patient. And the day of the siege, when they sieged the Muslims, Sha'b bin Talib for 3 years, they came to Khadija. And they told her, Inti, you stay back home, mu'azzaza mukarrama, dignified. No, you don't have to be with them. She says no. They used to respect Khadija radiallahu anha. They used to respect her so much. This is in Jahiliyyah. They used to respect Khadija. They went to her and they told her, you don't have to come. You can stay back in your home and whatnot. But the Muslims, we have to besiege them in the streets of Abu Talib for 3 years. She said, no, my husband goes, I go. He stays, I stay. She deserved that house in Jannah. This is magical recipe. This magical recipe is taken from that life between Prophet Muhammad and Khadija radiallahu anha wa ardaha. I hope that every house we can use this magical recipe. between us and our spouses. Listening is an amazing tool. Yes, I do have about 40 or 50 ingredients to share with you on how to improve our marital relationships, but because of sake of time, I cannot do that today. But up till here, if we were just to practice whatever we learned so far, just to understand, again, remember the psychological differences between another. Remember the example I gave about the countries, and us, each coming from a different country. Understand the other person's country and try to respect, that background that person has come from. Understand and try to implement certain things that the Prophet Muhammad used to do. We mentioned about the appreciation, the affection, the acceptance, and the attention. Barakallahu feek. May Allah bless you. Understand these little things. It's not like, the brother said, I know, Ammu, I understand totally, na'am, absolutely. But it's more than just, rights. It's more than just rights. It's more about sacrifice. It's more about compromise. It's more about understanding and affection and whatnot. When was the last time you told your wife, I love you? I know. Last Eid. No? Or maybe you said it by mistake. طيب. Why don't we try to do that, inshaAllah ta'ala? Let's try to revive this love between us and our spouses. May Allah make your homes like the homes of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. May Allah make your homes filled with, the rahmah of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, filled with love. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make your home filled with peace, with serenity, with harmony, inshaAllah ta'ala. Barakallahu feekum, zakumullah khair. Until another episode, may Allah azza wa jalla bless you all. Zakumullah khair. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله تعالى وبركاته. سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك أشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت أستغفرك ونتوب إليك.